Hello, friends, and welcome to The Artificial Brain, the podcast that explores the frontiers of artificial intelligence, one fascinating idea at a time. I'm your host, Shining. From groundbreaking models to the big questions about our future, we're here to make sense of it all, clearly, honestly, and without the hype. Ready to expand your mind? Let's dive in. All right, fam, grab your snacks and settle in because we need to have a serious heart-to-heart about the robot apocalypse, or, the lack thereof. I know you have seen the headlines, I know you have seen the tweets. Everybody is screaming that artificial intelligence is coming to steal our jobs, eat our lunch, and leave us broke on the street corner begging for crypto change. It is giving major anxiety, right? But hold up, before you start panic buying bunkers in the woods and learning to farm algae, let's pump the brakes. Because the future of work is not just about replacement, it is about evolution. We are talking about a massive shift in how we exist as professionals, a transition that is low-key terrifying, but also high-key exciting if you know how to play the game. We are not just looking at robots doing the same old thing faster. We are looking at a fundamental redefinition of what it means to work. So, are we doomed? Let's find out. First, let's address the giant elephant in the room wearing VR goggles. The fear of displacement. It is real. The vibes are definitely off when you hear about another breakthrough. You see a tool like ChatGPT write code or generate art in seconds and your stomach does a flip. You think, wait, that was my gig. And sure, there is truth to that. The Maxim Institute dropped this paper called Gone for Good exploring how this is not just some workplace transition, it is a full-on revolution. But here is the thing about revolutions. They break things, yes, but they also build wild new structures we cannot even imagine yet. We have been here before. The Industrial Revolution changed everything. The internet changed everything. This is just the next level. However, the narrative that every single job is about to vanish into the digital ether is cap. It is simply not true. The research is showing us a much more nuanced picture. It is not about total replacement. It is about task evolution.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Okay, science time. I want you to meet my new intellectual best friend, David Autor. He is an MIT economist and he has been cooking up some serious research on this. He uses something called the task-based framework. Basically, old-school economics looked at jobs like big buckets. If you're a writer, the bucket is writing. But David says, nah, look at the tasks inside the bucket. Writing is researching, outlining, drafting, editing, and formatting. Here is the mind-boggling part. His new research suggests that automation does not just wipe out jobs equally. It actually changes the value of expertise. Sometimes it replaces experts by taking over the specific tasks they used to rule, but other times it actually makes experts even more powerful by giving them superpowers. It slaps different depending on what you do. If your job is doing repetitive, routine tasks that the machine can learn, yeah, you might be in trouble. But if your job is complex, messy, and requires human judgment, you are about to be augmented, not deleted. Let me hit you with a tangent that really blew my mind. We always talk about how smart AI is, but there is this fascinating concept called systems thinking that is becoming the real MVP for the future workforce. There is this great piece of research that uses these epic historical metaphors. It says Chanakya watched the wind, not the fire. Abraham Wald reinforced invisible risks. Arjuna needed altitude, not more strength. What does that even mean? It means that when there is chaos, like a fire or a war, looking at the obvious danger is not enough. You have to look at the invisible forces, the wind, the context. Right now, AI is the fire. It is bright, it is hot, and everyone is staring at it. But the future worker needs to watch the wind. We need systems thinking. AI is going to execute better than us. It will process more data than we can ever dream of. It will show us every visible bullet hole on the plane. But it cannot yet see the holes that are not there. It cannot understand the complex web of human context, office politics, cultural nuance, and long-term strategy. That is where you come in. The future worker cannot just sit there and do tasks alone. You need to work together with these tools. You are the pilot. The AI is the engine. You do not try to be the engine. You focus on where the plane is going. This is the clarity we need. It is about seeing the bigger picture, while the bot handles the details. So if you are worried about being replaced, stop trying to outcompute the computer. You will lose. Start focusing on the things the computer cannot do: empathy, strategic thinking, ethical judgment, and connecting dots that do not seem to connect. That is the flex that will keep you employed. Now, let's get into something truly wild. The idea of who we are working with is changing, but also, who is working us for us? Or rather, who is managing us? Imagine walking into the office and your boss is not a person with a bad haircut and a coffee addiction. Imagine your boss is an algorithm. I know, it sounds like a Black Mirror episode, but this is already happening. There is this whole conversation happening right now about bosses versus bots. We are weighing the pros and cons of taking orders from an artificial intelligence manager. And honestly, some people are intrigued. I know, that sounds crazy, but hear me out. Humans are messy. Humans have biases. Humans play favorites. An AI boss? It is consistent. It is fair, at least in theory. It does not care if you wore the cool sneakers or if you laughed at its bad jokes. It just looks at the data.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Imagine a performance review where you are not judged by how well you schmoozed at the happy hour, but by your actual output. That is kind of fire, right? But then there is the other side of the coin. It is low-key terrifying to think a machine decides your fate. Can you negotiate a raise with a chatbot? Can you explain to an algorithm why you were late because your cat was sick?
Bruh.
This uncertainty is real. We are not sure if machines leading us is actually less scary or if it is just a different flavor of nightmare. But companies like Workday are already building enterprise AI platforms to manage human resources and finance. They are talking about agentic AI productivity. That means AI agents that do not just answer questions but take action. They are building tools that manage teams, allocate resources, and optimize workflows. The boss bot is coming, whether we are ready or not. But before you have an emotional breakdown, let's talk about the new roles that are popping up because of this tech. The job market is not shrinking, it is shifting, it is mutating into something new and bizarre. We are seeing the rise of the agentic workforce. These are not just tools, these are digital teammates.
And his name is John C.
Enter the AI agent. This is the next big thing. Think of it this way. Right now, you use ChatGPT like a smart calculator. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. An agent is different. You give it a goal. You say, plan my entire trip to Japan, book the flights, find the hotels that allow cats, and create an itinerary based on my interest in niche anime. And it just goes and does it. It uses other tools, it clicks buttons, it acts. For real, that is a game changer. In the workplace, this means you will have agents that handle your scheduling, your data analysis, and your email triage. You become an orchestra conductor. You are not playing every instrument, you are waving the baton. This creates totally new jobs. We are going to need AI orchestrators. We are going to need prompt engineers, although that term is kind of becoming a meme. We need people who can train these agents, who can audit their work, and who can tell them what to do. Wait, did I just say prompt engineering is a meme? Let me clarify. Prompting is not going away, but it is becoming so fundamental that calling it a separate job is like calling typing a separate job. It is just literacy. But the high-level skill of managing complex agentic systems? That is where the money is. That is the skill gap. If you can look at a business problem and figure out how to deploy a team of AI agents to solve it, you are going to be eating good. Let's take a quick detour into the stats, because I know you guys love the data. We are not just speculating here. The numbers are in. The year 2024 was massive for workplace adoption. Reports from AIPRM, Deloitte, and the National Bureau of Economic Research all show the same trend. People are using this stuff. They are not just playing with it, they are using it to get work done. One study found that professionals using large language models saw significant boosts in productivity. And we are not talking about 5%, we are talking about massive leaps in efficiency. People are writing faster, coding faster, and analyzing data faster. But the study also found something interesting. The impact depends on how you use it. Just having the tool does not make you a wizard. You have to adopt it intensively. You have to integrate it into your workflow. If you just use it to write email once a week, you are not going to see the benefits. You have to go all in. The future worker is someone who blends AI into every part of their day. However, there is a risk here. If we do not prepare, the wage gap could get wider. The research from David Otter again shows that automation can raise wages for some while lowering them for others. If AI makes experts super productive, their value goes up, and they get paid more. If your job consists of tasks that are easily automated, your value might go down. This is why education and upskilling are not just buzzwords, they are survival skills.
Emotional damage!
I know, that is the heavy part. No one wants to hear that the wage gap might increase, but ignoring it does not help. We have to face the music. So how do we prepare? How do we ensure we are on the winning side of this history? It starts with mindset. We have to change how we think about work. We cannot see ourselves as task doers anymore. The machines are the task doers. We are the sense makers. We are the ones who provide the context, the creativity, and the ethical guardrails. If you are in school or looking for a career path, look for the overlap between humanity and technology. Do not just learn to code, learn to solve problems with code. Do not just learn to write, learn to communicate and persuade. The soft skills are actually the hard skills now. Empathy, leadership, critical thinking. These are the things that AI cannot replicate. Not yet, and maybe not ever.
Meow.
I mean, can you imagine an AI trying to comfort a crying employee? It would probably just recite the employee handbook. That is not helpful, that is weird. We need humans for that. Also, do not be afraid to experiment. Play with these tools. Break them, see what they can do. The people who are most scared of this tech are usually the people who have never touched it. Once you start using it, you realize it is just a tool. It is a glorified calculator on steroids. It makes mistakes, it hallucinates. It needs you to check its work. In fact, relying on AI blindly is a terrible idea. It will absolutely make stuff up with total confidence. You need to be the editor-in-chief. You need to be the fact-checker. That is a job in itself. Let's circle back to that agentic workforce for a second. This is the future. You will have a digital team. You will have an agent for research, an agent for coding, and an agent for project management. Your job is to be the manager of these agents. This sounds futuristic, but platforms like Workday are already building the infrastructure for this. It is happening now. Suit up, because you are about to become Iron Man. You have the Jarvis. You just need to learn how to use the repulsors. And honestly, that is a pretty cool way to work. You get to focus on the big ideas. You get to focus on the vision. The grunt work, that is for the bots. Now, I want to be real with you for a second. There will be disruption. Some jobs will go away. Some people will have a hard time transitioning. We cannot sugarcoat that. It is going to be messy. Governments and companies need to step up to support people through this shift. We need safety nets. We need retraining programs. It is not just on the individual to figure this out. It is a societal challenge. But if we are optimistic, if we look at the potential, the future of work could be incredibly liberating. Imagine a world where we do not have to spend 40 hours a week doing soul-crushing administrative tasks. Imagine a world where we can focus on creative work, on caregiving, on community building, on exploration. That is the promise of AI. It is not about working less, it is about working on better things. So, to summarize, do not fear the bots. Be the boss of the bots. Develop your system's thinking. Watch the wind, find the altitude. And for the love of everything holy, do not let an AI fire you without a fight. Just kidding. Maybe. I hope this episode helped calm your nerves a little bit, or maybe it made you more paranoid. Either way, at least you are thinking about it. That is the first step. The future is coming fast, but you have got this. You are a human being with a brain that no computer can replicate. Use it.
Phone face down, but I still feel it buzz. All these scenes from today playing back just because. Keys on the table, coat on the chair. Your laughter in the hall, still hanging in the air. Roll the credits on a long, long day. Let the cause.
That is a wrap for this episode of The Artificial Brain. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me ramble about the robot takeover. Remember to subscribe, leave a review, and tell all your friends that the robot apocalypse is cancelled, mostly. Until next time, keep your brain sharp and your prompts sharper. Peace.